very much at the forefront of the legislature, at least for the last week, and that did go through, was tax reform. 2 years ago, there was a special council created by the legislature to study how to overhaul Georgia's tax code comprehensively. Some of those recommendations were adopted this week. A lot of them were not. I'd like each of you to answer or tell us about whether you're satisfied with what the bill passed this week did, and if not, what are some of the other things you would like to see the legislature do in the future. And looks like we're Josh going first here.
I think the bill that passed is a good start. I think that there's more to be done. What I've been talking about is increasing and making sure that Georgia's small businesses have access to capital. And one of the ways we can do that is we've got an angel investor tax credit out there that expires in 2013. It allows investors to get a tax credit for investments in small Georgia businesses. It expires next year. I want to make it permanent. So not only businesses understand that that's an option they'll have going forward, but investors know Georgia is a great place to put their money. We do a great job in creating companies here. We need to keep them here, and that's one way to do it. The second thing I think the tax bill raises is that it's going to cost the state $48 million next year. That's in addition to the $225 million hit we're going to face in Medicaid when the way we finance Medicaid goes forward, and the $100 million hit we're going to get from the implementation if we're not successful at the Supreme Court, or worse yet, if the president's not elected, in Obamacare. So one of the things that tax policy now always brings up the question is, in a balanced budget state, what are you going to do to balance the budget? And I can tell you that I've got the experience. When I started with Governor Perdue, our budget was at $21 billion. When I left, it was at 17. I've got the experience in cutting the budget, and given what we're going to be facing next year, I want to take that experience and make sure that it has a minimal impact on all of us. But the one thing I do wish the tax bill had was that angel investor tax credit. I think it's a good thing. It needs to be made permanent.
Taxes are the #1 issue that Georgians face every year when they have to pay their taxes, obviously. So I want to eliminate the income tax in Georgia. You know, we've been talking about this for years. Conservatives get elected on wanting to eliminate or reduce the income tax. They go down to the Capitol, and what do you know? The status quo raises its ugly head, and you know, nothing gets done. And so this tax proposal that has just been voted in, yeah, of course it has some decent things in it. But again, it's the status quo saying, well, you know, we're going to say one thing to get elected, but now we've got to worry about the revenue here and the revenue there. I mean, the bottom line is if you eliminate the income tax, which is what our panels have told us we need to do to drum up business in Georgia, businesses will come, small businesses will grow, and it will give somebody the opportunity that has an idea and has the passion to start a small business and make it grow, because they're not going to be hampered by that income tax at the end of the year. So we need bold decisions in the legislature. We're playing a bunch of games, frankly, with the tax code. And eliminating the income tax gets rid of the games. And it allows people, individuals, and their businesses to be the master of their own destiny instead of the government.
Folks, as someone who meets a payroll every week in my business, in this economy, let me tell you something. Reforming the tax code is huge on my list. We're in a bit of a not a competitive situation, to be frank. We've got Tennessee, we're wedged in between Tennessee and Florida, who have 0% personal income tax and corporate income tax. So here we are, and let me just tell you a quick story. About 3 months ago, I built a load of chairs. I sent it to one of my, proposed this deal to one of my dealers right here in our district. He said, "Drew, I cannot buy this product." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "The state of South." He said, I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I have to pay an ad valorem tax on it. So if I don't sell it by December 31st." I took that same load of chairs and sent it to South Carolina, where he paid 3%. Where my retailer paid 3%. So what's happened is we've got to replace the high income tax with a consumption tax, and then and I think there's creative ways to also do it, to offset. If you get it to zero, if you get our tax to zero, which is like Tennessee and Florida, I think you use the port of Savannah on goods that are coming and going and tax that. So there's other ways.
All of you